Howdy one and all to the US Grand Prix in Texas at COTA. We are 15 miles southeast of Austin, Texas, and alongside me in the comms box for MRC X-Treme is Tier 1's very own LRL, also known as Stefan. Good evening, how you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing really well. I hope our viewers at home are doing so too. And yeah, I'm looking forward to do this with you tonight.
Yep. Fifth race of the week at COTA in Texas, so many of our drivers will be very well versed at the circuit. And it looks like we have a Haas first out, so we'll get to them as soon as we can. And it's Moritz who's our lead car as he goes out for his installation lap at the start of this qualifying session. Total track distance is let me just double check with my notes, 3.427 miles long. We'll be racing 28 laps, which will total a distance of 95.817 miles. We've had some relatively dry running throughout most of tiers. I don't know what the weather was like for tier 3, but I know we had dry for tier 2 and 1 on Monday. We had a little bit of rain for X, but it looks to be relatively dry for the time being, as we're going to go on board now with Moritz. And I see Martin's message in the YouTube chat, it's all dry, which is sad to hear as well, as we are heading across up the hill towards turn 1 on board with Moritz in the Haas. Turned a bit too early, so I had to correct it, but manages to stay within track limits. Then it's through turn 2, and then the tight twisty sections of turns 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then we go through turn 7 and then 8 and then 9. Try and be careful on the exit, and then the kink of 10, and then down the hill to the heavy brake, well, relatively heavy brake of turn 11. A little bit of a lock up for Moritz, but slightly over track limits on the exit, but we'll stick with him. So DRS, or just running down now towards turn 12. Nice on the apex, keeps it within track limits on exit, and then we enter turn 13 and 14. Be careful to keep the back end in check through there, and then we enter turn 15. And then we've got 16, 17 and 18, the triple right-hander, where Verstappen got done for overtaking Raikkonen off track as he goes deep at 19. Final corner, turn 20, keeps in track limits. It would have been a 33.4, but we did an onboard lap with Moritz. Looked a bit twitchy, but I'm sure he'll find a decent time, because we still have plenty of time left, as Sam Flam sets us underway with a 32.236. Nice banker lap by Sam Flam, as Chris goes second in his Ferrari with a 32.978. Doritz with a 33.200 to put himself third, as we quickly jump to the other half of Scottish Ninja as he crosses line. 36.713 puts him currently P5. Ant goes P4 with a 33.044, and C8 Lou 32.402 to put himself on the front row with Sam Flam, as Law P goes P6 and Smith P7 respectively. As let's see, Armar's gone in, so we'll jump to the Williams of Peninza, who's currently in Sector 3, coming through the triple right-hander. No issues there for the Williams driver. Through turn 19, keeps it in limits. And nice and smooth through 20. DRS open to the line. 33.844 puts him P8. And an update on the timings, we have Single Track, who's now in 7th with a 33.681 for his bank opening lap. We'll jump to Tier 3's Dan as he's coming round turn 11. Bit of a lock-up. Turn 1 and 11, in my opinion, would be two of the most common places to lock up, and probably braking for turn 12 as well, because of how heavy those braking zones tend to be. There's another lock-up for Dan as he enters turn 12. As he takes the Sauber now through turns 13 and 14. And then 15. Bit of a moment, but kept it well. Now the triple right-hander of 16, 17 and 18. Turn 19, careful of the track limits on exits, just about keeps it in. Nice and smooth at 20, DRS open to the line, and Dan does a 34.5 for his opening lap. As Jules does a 31.9 to take provisional pole at this stage in the McLaren. And we go to the Red Bull of Saviour as he heads for the long run down towards turn 12. He's been showing some phenomenal one lap pace over the week, whether it was in X or Tier 1. So he's going to be definitely one to keep an eye out in this qualifying session. Great control through the Sector 3 at this stage. Triple right-hander for Saviour in the Red Bull. See how he finishes the lap. Oh, tail wants to come out. Well held. Well held, Saviour.
Yeah, the last two corners were
and
not ideal, but it's still...
Yeah, 32.232 puts him second, just ahead of Sam Flam.
Although he could have been...
he could have been a lot closer to Jules if the back end didn't step out at turn 19, but he collected it well. As we'll jump to the Alpine of our championship leader, Armar, currently only 2 points separating him and Chris at the top of the X-Treme Drivers' Championship after the results at Spa. So he's got a bit of pressure on him coming into this week for X-Treme. Ooh, lock up there for to turn 11. Hopefully it doesn't put too much of a flat spot on those soft tyres. Another lock up into 12. And a slight lock up for 13 as well, but looks very tidy. Triple right-hander now for the Alpine. Penultimate corner 19, easily within limits, and now turn 20, locking up a bit for the final corner. As he does a 30.7 to take provisional pole in the Alpine. Amazing lap by Armar.
Yes. Yes, a really good lap. I'm really happy that my new teammate in Tier 1 showing so much speed around here. So
I will give Armar his credit. He's very capable to race in Tier 1. He's having a stellar job in Tier 2 as well as Moritz puts it into P6 of a 32.862 as he gets well out the way of a car at turn 1, as we'll jump to Bobo as he's making his way towards the end of sector 1 through the S's. 25.7673 for the first sector, but he's invalidated in the middle sector, so Bobo's going to be looking to recharge and go again. So still plenty of time to have another stab for Bobo. Soze still yet to go out on track, as we'll follow Ant, currently P9 on a 33.0. Now, from what I can remember from the practice sessions early in the week, Ant is capable of doing a mid to low 31, because I believe last season at COTA, I think he set a lap of a 131.3 as the back end came out on the exit of turn 11, but he collected it, lost a bit of time. But Ant currently on a 33.0, I know he's got plenty in the tank in that Mercedes. Looks nice and smooth. A little lock up, but still smooth. Another twitch on exit, but gathered well. See how tidy the end of this lap is. Nicely in track limits out of 19. Now through 20. And to the line. Improves to a 32.3. I know Ant's got a bit more in his lock-up. So still plenty of time to get another run in and jump up the order a bit more. We'll quickly jump to Bobo, who's just entered sector 3 on his second attempt after invalidating the last one. He'll be looking to get up near the likes of Jules, Saviour, Sam Flam and Chris in that top 5. Just within track limits, I'd say, at turn 19. And he does a 33.0, so he's got his eye in now. And he's got enough time to get in and get back out again to get one final run in. As we'll jump to one of the people at the top, we'll go to Jules, who's currently second. Was on provisional pole until Armar came in with a 31.7 to dethrone him, as he's gone for a little diversion. So, and Sam Flam's also invalidated as well. Few people on outlaps. As we'll follow Lorpy in sector 2, currently P12 on a 133.179. Hodgie, good evening. How's the captain? How's the protector of rum this evening? See what. Oh, a bit of a lock up for Lorpy at turn 12. Aston Martin looking very, very planted. Oh, slightly invalidated there for Lorpy. Hopefully he's got enough fuel to go again, but I think he'll probably go into the pit lane and put a fresh set of tyres on. to make sure he gets one final stab at the rat. And he does. He's straight into the pit lane. We'll jump to Tier 1's Chris Bailey. As he enters...
What's Chris doing? Sitting in P5?
Yeah, he's
behind Xavier. I don't think he will like that, so we shall expect an improvement from him now.
I don't want to put a dampener on Chris, but the one thing I have noticed these last few weeks is his qualifying has dropped a little bit these last few races. He's not as prolific with his qualifying as he has been, so hopefully he can find that mojo again, especially if he wants to take the fight to... Oh, Hodge says you may need to turn your mic up a bit, Stefan.
Okay, I'll try to.
May not need to... I criticised Chris a little bit, and he does a 31.7 to go a fraction ahead of Armar and put that Ferrari on provisional pole position.
Well, he took that personally.
I think I need to criticise Chris a bit more if that's the case.
Yeah, he just needs some call-outs on stream, and then he...
Yeah, it does look that way. It does look that way. Let's find somebody that's on a lap that's known. Like, oh, Dan coming to the
I can
start
try to
of a lap.
Maybe it will get him into the 130.
Yeah, yes, Mark, he did. I don't know if he was listening, but yeah, he truly did. He truly did mic drop me just then. He's like, I hear you. Hold my beer. Watch this. Boom. Provisional pole. But watching Dan, who won Tier 3 in X-Treme last time out, we will go through bits and pieces that happened in Spa and also the championship order during the interval between the qualifying and race, just to bring things up to date. I know the championship is in the Discord if people want to check up where they are in the championship, but for other people I'll probably just run through the championship order during the 5-minute break as we watch Dan make his way round towards the triple right-hander as the checker flag is now out, so everybody on their very, very last run. So let's see what Dan can do when he reaches the checker flag. Runs deep but doesn't invalidate him as he enters the final corner and to the line. Does not improve, stays 15th on the 34.0 as Moritz comes to the line now, stays P9 on a 32.5. Right, who's next coming? That would be Doritz. He's invalidated. The next one I believe is a Williams. He's also invalidated. Alpine I believe it is. Yes, it is Armar behind the RB as Armar comes to the line and retakes pole back with a 31.603 to knock Chris down to second in these dying moments. As Ant's invalidated, so he's gone to the pit lane. That's a McLaren behind. Jules is invalidated, so the one further up is single track, so we'll jump to him as he enters the final corner. Where's Martin going to put it? He moves up to 13th on the 33.1. Not bad for somebody who despises this track.
Oh, and so close. 3,000 of a second.
Oh, yeah, I've just seen that. Wow. So Armar takes pole position by 3,000th of a second from Ant. So Armar will be on pole with Ant on second, which has dropped Chris down to third. So Chris had his brief stint at the top of the timing pages, and then Armar and Ant with a double A job and drop Chris down 2 places. But we'll run through the starting grid. And as we know, Armar will be starting on pole with Ant only 3 thousandths off. That is ridiculous. That is quicker than we can blink. Chris will be 3rd. Jules 4th. Samflan 5th. Saviour 6th. Doris 7th. C8 Lou is 8th. 9th is Maurice. Rounding out the top 10 is Peninza. Smith in 11th, Bobo 12th, Single Track 13th, Lorpy 14th, Dan 15th, Scottish Ninja 16th, and Soze rounds out the grid in 17th with no time set. Right, now we have a 5-minute interval to allow drivers to go toilet, get a drink, plan strategy, but I believe it's a medium hard, regardless how you look at it, because tyre wear is, those mediums just get absolutely shredded around here with the high speed corners. Don't expect softs to be used much because they don't really last long around here, but we'll talk about Spa for a second from the top 3 finishes from each tier from last week. Tier 1, the top 3 finished Saviour 1st, Bobo 2nd and Chris 3rd. Tier 2 finished Doris 1st, Soze 2nd and C8 Lou 3rd. And Tier 3 it finished Dan 1st, Smith 2nd, and because Scottish Ninja was non-classified, we did not have a 3rd place in Tier 3, which means the top 10 in the X-Treme Championship. Armar still leads despite losing points to Chris. It's only 2 points separating the pair. Saviour sits 3rd on 87 points, 17 points behind Championship leader Armar, but 15 behind Chris. Moritz is 4th on 75. Ant 2 points behind that in 5th place. And then it's only a point gap to Lorpy in 6th on 72. Bobo finds himself 7th on 70 points. And then we have a tie for 8th, 9th and 10th with Single Track at Soze and Smith, all on 66 points, and that is the top 10 in the X-Treme Championship after round 5 from Spa. Whilst we've got a bit of time, Stefan, what's your opinion on the US Grand Prix of COTA? Are you a fan of the track? And what parts of it do you enjoy the most?
I've got kind of a weird relationship with it, to be honest, because somehow I never liked it. It wasn't a track I was keen to drive on. Very often I was like, okay, Austin is coming up next. Alright, let's just do it. But I think actually, the track produces some nice racing. I really like that you can overtake, but you cannot just overtake, you can also fight back. For example, after the long straight, it's very much possible to continue the fight into Sector 3 in this slow section. You can choose different lines there, both in order to attack, but also in order to defend. So it really produces some nice racing, both in real life and on this game. So actually, from the US tracks, which we have got like 15 by now on the calendar,
it feels like it.
This is the best one in my opinion.
Yeah, out of the 3 that we currently have, obviously we've got COTA, we've got Miami, and obviously the 10-mile drag strip that is Vegas. But personally, I miss Indy. I still miss Indianapolis to this day. I know there was
Oh yeah.
issues at the banking, which with the Michelin tires.
I mean, yeah, but this has been 20 years now. Come on, if you want to have uh, a Grand Prix in every U.S. city, basically, or in every U.S. state, we should have the one in Minneapolis back.
Yeah,
I remember driving it in F1 2006. I really liked it. I would love to have a league race here in MRC on this track.
yeah, I remember racing Indianapolis on the old F1 games as Armar leads them round on formation. So we'll get the tyres up and see what people have decided to start on, and it's 100%. Everyone is in complete agreement, as everybody is on the medium tyre for the start of this one.
Wow, that's pretty unanimous.
Yep.
And here one, I think we had one driver opting for the hard tire, but otherwise everyone on mediums. And well, here we have no one stepping out. So it's everyone on the same strategy. It's very, but the interesting approach. I mean, it's not very diverse, but I think I can understand it in a way. It's a one-stop, as you said, is the way to go. The stop tires are just not very feasible in this track, and yeah, I think very often people have we have an early safety car, and then the people on the hard tires is screwed over. So it makes sense from this point of view.
Yeah, and I'm guessing with everyone on the medium tyres, we'll probably be expecting people to stop at around about lap 10, lap 11, or even lap 9, because the undercut is so strong round here with the medium to the hards. But everyone on mediums is a complete contrast to when I was watching the F1 esports around COTA. They all started on the hard tyres and decided to do their final stints on the mediums.
It's interesting.
But they're the professionals in everything. We just do this for fun. As we wait for the lights, hopefully we get a better view. If not, I'll jump on one of the drivers. No, we do not. So we'll go on board with Armar for the start of this one as we get the 5 red lights. And they're out, and it's a very clean start from Armar from the lead as they head up the hill towards turn 1. Ant's going to have the inside, but Armar holds position. Chris and Ant side by side on the exit. Chris having a little bit of a twitch, but Chris will have the inside for turn 2 and takes P2 as they head into turn 3. And now everybody will be trying a little bit of a contact further back. I don't know who that was, but everyone trying to filter in and get through the S's without any complications. But a brilliant start for Armar holding the lead. But he's got Chris in hot pursuit, the 2 championship leaders, as Armar going a bit deep and Chris almost clipping the back of the Alpine on the way through, but no contact. As they head down towards turn 12, we will not have DRS until the next lap, so we won't have DRS from turn 20 to turn 1, but we will have DRS from turn 11 to turn 12 on the next lap. So Chris will be wanting to... a bit of a twitch by the Ferrari as he keeps Armar within arm's length, the 2 championship protagonists at this stage. As I said, in the 5-minute break between qualifying and the race, it's only 2 points separating the pair of them as Jules goes a bit wide out of 19. But Chris will be wanting to stay as close as he can to Armar through Sector 1 and through the S's to get DRS out of turn 11. because we do have DRS now. It's after 1 lap instead of 2. And very close as well. It's still anyone's as it's single file through the S's. Nobody's broke away just yet, apart from everyone pulling away from Scottish Ninja, Smith and Dan, who are having their own little fight. The tier 3s, 13 points up to grabs for those 3 in tier 3. So plenty of points for them to fight for, as we'll jump to the front as Chris has made the move into turn 12 for the race lead on Armar. So Armar drops down to 2nd place, which allows the Ferrari now to lead. And now Chris will want to try and open a gap to try and protect himself from Armar, as we have a yellow flag. That is Scottish Ninja round at turn 14. He's got going again, which is good to see. Armar with DRS on the run down to turn 1, and because it's uphill, it's a very, very good opportunity for late braking. But it's a blind apex. Armar doesn't decide to go for anything into turn 1, so he'll be keeping close to the Ferrari through the S's, as we have a little bit of a breakaway as C8 Lou has dropped out of DRS from the other RB of Doris. So he's got his own little train, although he's got back in it again as he's coming up to the detection line, and he's just within DRS of Doris, so he will have DRS, as Ninja has been caught for the 3rd time for a track limit, so he now has 3 seconds to his name. We are getting a few gaps starting to build, and as we all know in this game, you drop outs to DRS, you're just a sitting duck, and it's very difficult to get back in, especially here at COTA. You drop out of DRS and, as I say, it's very difficult to get back in it again, as C8 Lou is going to be trying his best to get back within DRS of Doris. The gap is 1.1. We'll jump back to the front as we join Armar coming out of turn 20. He'll have DRS on Chris. He's having a look on the inside, but I think he was in 2 minds there. But he stayed out of it. Ant on the outside, but I don't believe he's going to be able to have a look. No, he filters back in before turn 3. As I think Single Track's had a moment. He's now falling behind Dan in 16th, but he's trying to get the position back, but drops back behind the Salbot. He'll be wanting to have a problem-free race. Been away for the weekend.
Start the race,
yeah,
I saw his front wing flying at the back.
Yeah, ooh. We've got a few position changes actually. So as Jules has got past down, went off track a little bit and rejoined, stays P4, and Armar got past Chris with DRS down towards turn 12, so Armar retakes the lead. So again, it's Alpine, Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren top 4, as Doris and Saviour going side by side out to the triple right hander. Still side by side going into the final corner. Doris is not giving this one up, and neither Saviour. But I think Saviour's just going to hold on, but I think they're still side by side going down towards turn 1. Saviour will have the inside line and the better chance of defending. Doris trying to get better traction, but has to stay behind the Red Bull of Saviour. but I'm sure that battle's gonna get a little bit juicy. So Doris putting Saviour under pressure, with Sam Flambobo just behind, and Sieglu as well, and Moritz in that train as well. The top 10 all within DRS of each other, as Bobo has made the move on the inside of turn 11 to take Sam Flam, and now we'll be looking to target Doris as we look at Chris, and Ant having a brilliant exit at a turn 11, tries to go around the outside of Armar and does so. There was a little bit of contact but nothing severe. Ant up to second. So Armar now finds himself down to third after losing the lead to Chris and second to Ant. It now looks to be under pressure from the Papaya McLaren of Jules, with Saviour lurking as well. As we know, you never put a bet against Saviour. He always finds a way to overtake or get further up. As we have a yellow flag, that's Scottish Ninja on the exit of the triple right-hander just before turn 19. Not having the best of evenings is Ninja at this stage, as Doris has now been found guilty of track limits and has 3 seconds. So that's 2 drivers with track limit penalties. So we have a yellow flag again. Yep, Scottish Ninja not having the best of evenings. He's had a moment at 2. As we look at the top 3, and deciding to sit behind Chris. Armar can't do much because of Ant having DRS from the Ferrari just ahead. Another yellow flag, Scottish Ninja. Struggling in these early stages. Mediums start to feel a bit keen at this stage, depending on how well you look after them. But with the top 10 being so bunched up as it is, I wonder who's going to decide to go for the undercut, as Smith has now got a track limits, as Peninza's in. Peninza's gone in on lap 6. So he's gone for a very early stop. But we're going to stay with the battle of the top 10, as Chris is trying to pull away from Ant. He's got 8 tenths, but Ant will still be within DRS. But I'm not sure Ant's going to be close enough to have a look. One thing I do know between Chris and Ant is Ant, with his control of his tyres, is far superior to Chris's. Chris is a lot more aggressive on his tyres compared to Ant, so there's a little gamesmanship for Ant, because he knows what Chris is like on his tyres. Armar keeping very close to the back of the Mercedes through this twisty third sector as we head towards turn 19. Yellow flag, that's Moritz has had a moment and has dropped off the train of the top 10. Had a little moment at the triple right-hander, I believe. This is where the tyre wear really starts to kick in on the mediums. As Ninja with another 3 seconds. As Single Track's bailed on his medium tyres, and he's in on lap 8, down in 14th. He'll be putting a fresh set of hards on to go to the end from here, which is doable. He's just got to manage them for a few laps, get them working. Takes about 1 or 2 laps for the hard tyres to get working as Scottish Ninja moves out the way for the leading cars, staying well out the way as well. Still no change in that top 3, and remaining planted in second, Chris holding on to the lead. We'll jump a little bit down the order to see what's going off in the mid-pack. We've got the 2 Aston Martins in 11th and 12th, Lorpy and Soze. As I believe Dan's had a moment at turn 11, he's got going again. Probably lost the car on traction due to the low grip on the medium tyres, as Jules is the first of the top guys to pit. Jules is in on lap 9. Good evening, Colin. Good to see you in the YouTube chat. Lorpy's in as well. But with Jules being the first of the front runners to pit, I wonder what the leading pack is going to be thinking now. Because Jules was in 4th when he pitted, and he's come out in clean air, ahead of Smith but behind Soze, but he's in plenty of clean air to get those hard tyres working. So the question is, what are everybody in that top 8 going to be thinking to do? Because they would have seen Jules go in, and how many of them are going to react to it? Hoz just wants to know if you're still there, Stefan.
Yes, can you hear me?
He's still here, Mark, don't worry. Oh, we've had a few people bail into the pit lane.
Floor, so I wasn't.
Yeah,
I didn't want to interrupt you, but well, yeah, now everyone's diving into the pit lane.
Yeah, they've all reacted to Jules, but Armar, Stefan, and C8 Lou have all stayed out, but the likes of Chris, Ant, Saviour, Bobo, Doris have all dived in to react to Jules, who has come out just ahead of Chris. So he's leapfrogged all of them, pitting a lap early and getting clean air. Saviour getting caught on the exit of turn 1 for track limits.
Again. Yeah, it's unlucky with penalties, although I think maybe he won the penalty, but maybe it should be removed. We have to wait for that, but yeah, on Friday I think he also had time penalty. It's unusual for Alex, but again, on this track, if you want to be fast, you gotta risk that.
Yeah,
you're not gonna be faster on Austin if you're not at least risking going over the white line.
Yeah, you got to flaunt with the or flirt with the track limits around here to be quick. You got to be really aggressive, especially in those final 2 corners. But what Jules has the upper hand. I mean, he's stuck behind Soze at the moment, as Armor and Sanflam have both pitted as well. But they'll fall behind this pack as C8 Lou has gone in as well, and I believe Soze has as well. Yep. So Moritz leads, the only one yet to make a stop in that top section. But Jules with a slight advantage over the cars behind him, because his hards are going to be at working temperature. They will be switched on. But the like of Ant, Chris, Saviour and Bobo will be just about getting their hard tyres switched on now. So
we have to see if we can use this little advantage in order to break the DRS, but it doesn't look as if we can.
Well, he's trying to break the toe from Ant, who's got DRS. So it's Mercedes power versus Mercedes power, McLaren versus Mercedes on the run down to turn 12, but Ant's not close enough. Scottish Ninja has retired in the pits on lap 11. And I believe Sam Flam's made up 2 places just then, because I believe Doris and Armar have had moments. And Doris doing the sporting thing and letting Armar back through. So those two had a coming together, but we'll see if that gets put into the stewards, as Jules will take the lead now with Moritz pitting. He's finally putting the hard tyres on lap 12. So Jules now leads in the McLaren, with Ant second in the Mercedes and Chris third in the Ferrari. As they make their way through the S's and then through the kink of 10 down towards turn 11, as we'll jump to the Mercedes of Ant to see from his view how he does, as Peninza gets 3 seconds. Now will Ant have a look? He does. He gets on the inside of Jules and makes the move before the braking zone. Bit of a lock-up by the Mercedes. Chris on the inside of Jules. He goes for a switchback. He's still alongside the McLaren, but Jules will have the inside. Lovely little battle there. With beautiful switchback attempt by Chris.
Yeah, but Jules was blocking him off nicely. He made it very clever. He positioned himself very well.
Oh, Jules 3 seconds.
Yeah, just as I praised
just as you praised Jules, he gets 3 seconds, and I think we can now add. I think we can now officially put Stefan in the commentators' curse category now. So welcome to the club, Stefan. You're now You're now one of us.
Yeah, we had a race with I think it was Connor in Sanford, where it was just it was absolutely insane. Every time we mentioned the word safety car or crash, that the driver, where the camera was on, simply crashed. That was absolutely cursed. Maybe I was just too nice. Maybe I should be criticizing the driver more. So then they will be motivated to...
Yeah. Well, yeah, a bit like qualifying when I criticise Chris and then he puts it on provisional pole, whereas mine had an adverse effect on matters, as Jules jumps back ahead of Ant with DRS and retakes the lead.
It works.
Yeah, just one lap later than you praised.
Yeah, but it's a really, really nice 5 way better up front. Your top 5 are within like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's very tight in that top 5, and it's also the top 5 in Tier 1, because as it stands, as we head on to lap 14, as Chris and Saviour having a little fight going into turn 1. Chris holds the inside, Saviour trying to hang it round the outside. Saviour, a little bit of a gap going through 2, but Chris will have the inside for 3, but Saviour swoops by the Ferrari to take 3rd place. That's like watching Max Verstappen on Charles Leclerc just then, as Sam Flam gets 3 seconds now. There's quite a handful of drivers now with 3 seconds worth of track limits, which at this point is in favour of Ant, Chris and Bobo in that top 5, because they're the only 3 drivers without 3 seconds at this stage, whereas Jules and Saviour both carry 3 seconds. And not close enough to have a look at Jules into turn 12, and just sits behind the McLaren. As we have a change for position just at the bottom half of the top 10, as C8 Lou got ahead of Moritz with the aid of DRS. But at this stage, on lap 14, Jules and Saviour is your top 3 in tier 1. Armour, Doris and C8 Lou is your top 3 in tier 2. And your top 2 in tier 3 with Scottish Ninja parking it up in the pits is Smith and then Dan. As Moritz, while he was following C8 Lou, ran a bit wide and got 3 seconds. So I believe we're going to probably have in a handful of drivers with 3 seconds towards the end of this one. We're on lap 15 of 28. As we jump back up to the battle for the top 5, which is still being led by Jules, Ant second, Saviour third, Chris fourth, Bobo fifth. Top 5 all close together and all in different cars. We have 3 Mercedes powered cars, we have 1 Red Bull / Honda powered car and a Ferrari powered car in that top 5. I just hope the real life F1 will be as close as we have the first real F1 race this weekend in Australia. And for people like me in England, it is going to be a very, very early start of the day, 4 AM in the morning for the Australian Grand Prix.
Oh, god damn. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit unfortunate, but I mean, generally, it used to always be the season opener.
Yeah.
Australia. And
yeah.
I like it. Interesting, but of course, for Europeans, the time is not very nice, and you don't want to watch it later, so because it's the season opener. So. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but I think it's gonna be worth it. I heard that there's a high chance of rain.
Yeah, I've heard that the forecast for Sunday in Australia is rain, so it could be a very interesting opening round to the real life Formula 1 season, as Lord P gets past Beninza for P12, as we'll quickly jump back up to... Yes, he does. We just caught the end of that. Jules down to second, Ant takes the lead. As I believe Saviour thought about having a little look on the tighter line at heading to turn 15. As we have a yellow flag, that's Dan having a moment towards the end of sector 1. All he's got to do is, and he's got 3 seconds as well, all he's got to do is keep going and he'll get points. As he's had another moment at turn 11. Just keep your head down, Dan. Just make it to the flag. Sam Flam, currently P6, he's bouncing around the 2.8, 2.93 second mark off to that top 5. Not being able to get any close to them, and that's the problem when you're outside of DRS, because you see the cars ahead of you stretch the legs and pull away, and you can't close them down, because he's now finds himself 3.4, but he's closed it back up again because of they're all fighting, so he'll be wanting them to fight as much as possible, so he can probably try and get on the back of that and make it a 6-way fight in the closing stages. As Ant will lead the top 5 round onto lap 18. We'll just drop down to the battle for 7th and 8th. Armour and Doris, which is also the battle for 1st and 2nd in Tier 2. Moritz finds himself 8 seconds behind these two with C8 Lou very close to him, but these two are fighting over the bragging rights for the win in Tier 2. Armour opening up a gap. He's broke DRS to Doris, so Doris has got to try and claw that back in, but he's also got 3 seconds. Armour doing exactly what he needs to do in his championship fight with Chris. He's sitting comfortable for tier 2's overall win, as Jules has now got past Ant again, but runs wide and gets a better exit and a swoop back through. So Jules made the move but ran deep, and Ant having better traction. Oh, bit of a lockup for Jules, and Saviour almost looking like he's in a fighting move now, seeing that Jules struggling a little bit. His tyres are 1 lap older than Ant, Saviour and Chris and Bobo, because those 4 pitted a lap after Jules. He was the one that pulled the trigger and activated the domino effect of that top 10 pitting. Still plenty of laps to go, lap 19 of 28, as we have a yellow flag for Dan in sector 2.
Yeah. Oh, no damage, at least it looks like that.
He is showing one thing that I like in a driver, even though he's not having the best of races, he's not giving up, and he's just plucking away, because he knows as long as he finishes, he's guaranteed points. So he's doing a very good job. He may be 40 seconds behind Smith, but we all aim to make it to the flag, because that's the first rule in racing. You can't win a race unless you don't finish. As the top 5 still can't be separated, and controlling it very well out front, keeping Jules unable to overtake. But it's mainly single file towards the end of the lap and through the start of it. The only real overtaking spots are turn 1 and turn 12. You can do it at turn 11, but the line for the corner, the door slams shut very, very quickly, because you go out you're wide on entry, but then you have to bring it tight in for the entry into turn 11, so you have to be significantly alongside to have a sniff at an overtake at turn 11. Jules 6/10 off when DRS down towards turn 12. I don't think he's close enough to have a look. No, Saviour can't have a look either. So Ant managing things very well and very controlled. He's done this quite a lot the last few races when he's been leading. He's very good at controlling from the front, as we have a position change. C8 Lou's got past Moritz for 9th and 10th, so C8 Lou now finds himself 3rd in Tier 2. So he's currently rounding out the podium for Tier 2 in 9th. But Moritz not giving up, he's staying close to the back of that RB through Sector 3. Goes deep out of turn 19 but keeps it off track, so he doesn't get a warning. And that's one thing I've noticed, because I did it a few times in Tier 2 and Tier 1 early in the week, is if I knew I was going to be running wide out of turn 19, is I took the car a little bit wider and also lifted a little bit to try and avoid the track limits on the exit of 19, and it worked. It's a bit
very important.
Yeah, it's a bit like when you know when the car's not gripping and you're going through Pouon at Spa. If you take the car wider, you don't seem to get a track limit warning. But when you try and keep in track limits, and let's say you go a fraction over, it gives you 3 seconds. But if you take the car wider and fully go over the track limits, for some reason it doesn't give it yet, as Moritz is now back ahead of C8 Lou. But all C8 Lou needs to do is stay close to Moritz with that 3 seconds, and he's looking very good for the 3rd place in Tier 2. So he's just got to keep Moritz in his visual. Doris sitting comfortably at the moment in 8th. Armour absolutely bolted. He's looking very comfortable for the Tier 2 win. Currently sat in P7, which is what he needs to do to extend his lead in the X-Treme Championship. Chris currently finding himself 4th overall and 4th in Tier 1, so he's going to be losing ground to Armour as Jules retakes the lead, overtaking Ant into turn 12. It's been quite a bit of leapfrog between the cars, whoever in 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tactical game at the moment. No one has the patience to break away from the pack or to get out of the DRS zone. So yeah, it's just about being at the right spot at the right time. And yeah, I mean, the DRS is so strong on this game that you don't even necessarily want to be in the lead, because at some point it's going to be a sitting guard stuff. Like, you have to use your DRS, but the guys behind you can save it, and once they deploy it, they will just pass for the corner.
Yeah, so if we go along those lines, those like, for example, Ant, Saviour, Chris and Bobo behind Jules at the moment, Ant will want to try and hold on to 2nd place the best he can, and he'll want to try and stay there going on to the final lap, because unless you get a strong exit at a turn 12 with good traction. Oh, we have somebody round at the turn 20. Looks like Peninza's had a moment. Yes, he's missing an end plate on that Williams. Peninza round at turn 20 has got damage to the front wing, so he's going to be struggling to make certain corners with the damage on the left hand side. As Ant back ahead in the lead whilst we're checking on Peninza. But it's very, very close between Xavier and Chris. Oh, that is looking very close. Almost contact between long top. Ooh, snap for Chris on exit. Very well collected. That could have speared him off and probably took Bobo with him if he didn't catch that one. So we're on lap 24 or 28. We're getting very close to the end of this one. As the yellow flag is Dan letting the lead cars through. He's getting the blue flags and he's doing the correct thing. As we enter turn 11, so let's see if Jules can take the lead back from Ant at turn 12, or will he decide to stay put? He's getting close to the Mercedes. Inside, clean as you like. No way for Ant to come back through, so Jules retakes it. Chris still looking happy to sit in P4. He's probably looking at things this way. He knows Jules and Xavier have both got penalties, so he's more than happy to probably stay put there in P4 because he knows he's got 2 places to gain at the end after the penalties are added. As Ant's having a look at the inside of turn 1. Gives Jules enough room on the outside. Jules trying to sweep back through at turn 2. They're still side by side as they head into turn 3. They're still side by side through the S's. Jules hangs on to the lead just.
Wow.
Very, very clean, fair racing there. Both drivers giving each other plenty of space. Beautifully done by the pair of them. Jules holding on very, very firm for the lead. Even though he's got that 3 seconds, he's not giving it up easy. As Ant with DRS now on the head to turn 12 as Xavier. He's also looking very racy and he's looking to follow Ant through as well. Ant's through into the lead and Xavier through to second. Jules goes deep. And gets another 3 seconds as well. Xavier looking. Oh, snap for Xavier. Oh, it's very, very tight. Xavier and Chris. Whoa, whew.
I don't even know if they were the battle.
I don't want to. I'm trying to be careful of my words a little bit because I don't want to be in trouble with Hodge. I'm trying to be very careful with my words. Something, a particular word wanted to show itself, but I tried to not say it, as it looks like Bobo's having a look into turn 1 on the inside of Chris. Chris will have the traction on the outside and the inside for turn 2, but Bobo, he filters back in. He played sensible. He had a look, he made the move into turn 1, but Chris with the outside line had better traction and was able to get the place back. We're following the Red Bull of Xavier behind the McLaren of Jules as they all. And to be honest, whilst they've all been scrapping, I've just noticed this. I know he's got penalties to him, But now Sam Flam finds him on the back of the train as Jules gets back ahead of Ant.
Oh, Ant's trying better, but he needs to watch out for Xavier because maybe. Yeah.
Oh, he's gone for the tighter line.
Xavier can.
Oh, Xavier and Ant trying to not. They're going through the triple right-hander. Xavier on the inside. Peninza gets the fastest lap. He's on fresh, soft tyres.
Wow, what a battle we've seen.
Oh, Xavier looking very racy as we head on to the penultimate lap. The only problem with Xavier is he's got that 3 seconds to his name. So Ant in prime position for the win as long as he keeps it nice and tidy and penalty free himself, which I know he's very good at. It's very rare you see Ant get penalties for track limits.
Yeah, but once Chris manages to overtake Xavier, he's right behind Ant, and this is for the win then, so
yeah,
that's wait what happens. And maybe, you know, it can, I don't know how many warnings the guys without penalties have, but it can very easily happen that maybe Chris or Ant or Bobo
they could be
also get it.
They could be carrying 1, they could be carrying 2. You just do not know from the commentary point of things. As we head through turns 13 and 14 and 15 to the triple right handers of 16, 17 and 18 as we head down towards the closing stages of this lap to head on to the final lap. And in prime position in second going on to the final lap. Jules going straight over to the left hand side to try and break the toe so Ant can't get anywhere near him. But all Ant's got to do is stay close to Jules with that 3 seconds, which is all Chris has got to really do as well. He's got to stay with them and hope Ant can stay close to Jules. As we'll jump to the Mercedes as we head down the hill to turn 11 for the last time. Ant will have DRS, but Xavier going for a tighter line and is past Ant at turn 11.
Yeah, Ant's made a mistake, and now this is what I was talking about. Now Chris has the chance to attack, and this is for the win, basically.
Yeah, the win's between
P3, but
Chris on the outside. Ooh, that was close. Bobo's there as well. Ooh.
Yeah, no,
almost contact.
As well, of course.
Yep. Now the prime seat is with Chris.
All of a sudden, how fast you can get him? Chris. So close.
Chris is all over Xavier, but we're going to jump to Jules. Who's going to take the flag first. He's going to take it first on track.
Down to the final corner.
But Chris will take the win after penalties. Ant will get second, Bobo third, Xavier fourth. Jules drops to fifth. Sam Flam sixth. Armar seventh. C8 Lou and Moritz. Ooh, bit of contact on the way into turn 20, but Moritz and C8 Lou not given a quarter on this final lap. Moritz holds off C8 Lou. Doris takes P10 to round out that top half. Soze will come home 11th. So we'll wait for Soze to cross the line. And now we've got Lorpe in the second Aston Martin to come in P12. And then it'll be single track in the second McLaren in 13th. And now we'll have Schmidt bringing his Red Bull home in 14th. Peninza doesn't seem to be in the car now. because his car's ghosted on this last lap, and obviously Dan's already took the checker flag. As Smith crosses the line, Smith will have the bragging rights in Tier 3. Armour takes the bragging rights in Tier 2. And provisionally as it stands, Chris will have the bragging rights for Tier 1. So with Armour as it stands winning Tier 2 and Chris as it stands winning Tier 1, the gap remains 2. The gap remains with only 2 points between them. But these finishing results are provisional. We still have stewarding to be involved. So Chris takes the win, and second, Bobo third, Saviour fourth, Jules fifth, Sam Flam sixth, Armar seventh, Maurice 8th, C8 Lou 9th, Doris 10th, Soze 11th, Lorpy 12th, Single Track 13th, Smith 14th, Peninza 15th, Dan 16th, and Scottish Ninja, the sole retirement, in 17th. Crazy end to this one, and I'm not surprised with the nature of COTA, especially that final sector.
Yes, absolutely incredible. It really came down to the last lap, and even to the very last corner they were still fighting. Like, what a fight for the win this has been.
Yeah, and the game gave Bobo driver of the day, started in P12 and finished P3, so that is definitely a strong race for Bobo. Kept it clean throughout, no penalties, they stayed out of trouble, plucked away, and finished third in the overall in the race, and also third in Tier 3. So sorry, Tier 1. So I think due to that, from where he started, and he's kept it very clean and got no penalties, I'm going to give Bobo my vote for driver of the day.
I agree with that, absolutely, yes.
So yeah, hectic finish to X-Treme. Congratulations to Chris taking the win overall and Tier 1. Congratulations to Armar taking the win for Tier 2, and congratulations to Smith taking the win for Tier 3. That wraps up all the racing at COTA in Texas here at MRC. We head down under for Friday to open up the 7th round of the season in Australia. So get your barbecues out. We're going racing down under on Friday at 7:30. Then Tier 2 and Tier 1 will be racing down under in Australia on the Monday. Tier 2 at 7 o'clock and Tier 1 will be at 8:45. And then on Wednesday we'll have Tier 3 and the No Assist Crazy Gang, which is X-Treme, will be back again at 8:45 on the very same day to round off the racing in Australia. Thank you for being on comms, Stefan.
It was my pleasure. Yeah, it was really exciting. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it's always entertaining to see what those X-Treme with the drivers that race no assists, and show what they are capable of. So yeah, if you've enjoyed the race tonight, whether you watched it live or watching it back later, leave a like. And if you're new to the MRC YouTube channel, please subscribe and hit that bell to be notified whenever we go racing live, which will be on Friday for MRCX, which is the 25%, 25%, the two 25% races. The second 25% race, I believe, is the reverse grid from the first race, so should be interesting. I'm going to be on comms for that one. I can't remember who me co-com will be, but keep notified for that one on Friday. So for one final time, it's good night from myself and good night from Stefan. We hope to see you. Hope to see you on Friday at 7:30 when we go racing for the first time in Australia.